I'm Roman with HVAC School, and today we're talking about the Daikin Bluetooth service checker. Now, it's not really the service checker, but it is the Bluetooth adapter. We call it the D-Checker. Now, there's two different versions of the D-Checker. There is the cabled version that goes to a laptop, and there is the wireless Bluetooth version. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to say the Daikin Bluetooth D-Checker, which is what this is. And as you can see here, that part number is 999187T. So why are we talking about the Daikin service checker or the Daikin Bluetooth D-Checker? Well, because when we go out in the field and we work on pieces of equipment like this is the Daikin Fit, or maybe we're working on a Daikin mini split or any mini split in general that's made by the manufacturer, Daikin Comfort Technologies. You'll want a service tool like this, and I'm going to show you why. Not only that, but let's look at where it goes on the system and how to connect it. Now, if we open up this box, you're going to find instructions, which nobody needs to read. You're going to find our little service tool here. Looks like that. Now you'll notice in older versions it only comes with 2 cables, but newer versions actually come with 3 cables. Why are there 3 cables instead of 2 cables now? And that's because one of those cables is made for the new R32 units, right? It has a micro adapter. We say micro because if you look at the newer control boards on some of these equipment, you'll find that they've actually reduced the plug size. Now, one side is universal that plugs into the side of the service tool. The other side is the piece of equipment specific that you're going to be working on, whether it's a mini split that's 10 years old, a piece of VRV equipment that might be 5 years old, or the latest and greatest R32 systems, which is again going to be this micro plug that you see here. So let's take the service panel off, show you where to plug this in, and then I'll show you the app on how you connect it and how to gain access to the information on this system. Now, if you're unfamiliar with systems like this, you might want to pull the disconnect or turn the power off to the equipment to familiarize yourself where the plugs are at and the safety protocols for this piece of equipment before you start sticking your fingers close to the inverter board. Remember, inverter pieces of equipment charge capacitors that you see here on the board to generate and simulate the signals that are sent to this compressor. And so that just means that a unit that might be 2A 240 could easily charge its capacitors close to 400 volts. You don't want to stick your fingers in something like that with the power on if you're not familiar with it. So with this, we've got our control board, our safety flap to keep anything from touching the board. And as you can see here, we've got our display in the top right. Now you're going to find with most Daikin pieces of equipment that they try to make it universal in the color that these plugs are when we talk about plugging in our service tools. So for here, we can see that we've got blue plugs in the top right labeled X41A. You read the instruction manual, it's going to tell you that that is the plug that we want to use. So now I have to find the cable that connects to this before I plug it into my service tool. Should be this one here. And there you go. Blue plug on the board usually means service tool or communication tool. Now that I've plugged that in, I can turn around and I can plug it into my service tool like that. Now that I'm safely connected to it, I can let this hang here, reestablish my connection for power. If the unit explodes or blows up, then you've got to plug it into the wrong spot. Now, how do we know that we've actually plugged it into the right spot? You're going to see here now, the red light will start flashing on the status. That red light flashing on the status means that the tool has power and it's ready to be connected to my phone. Now, the Bluetooth function on this is a little bit finicky. So when it comes to connecting to something like this, it's going to be important to use either your work phone, personal phone, or your tablet that comes with, your position, if you have one. The other thing to remember is that because this is Bluetooth, the range on this is not as long as you would think it is with your gauges or your wireless probes. So don't walk off 20, 30 feet while recording data on this system. You want to make sure you stay within a 10-foot radius. You'll find that walls and other things like that do pose a problem. Now, what you're going to see on here is you're going to see the name BTSC. What we want to do now is we want to click that device. And in clicking that device, we're going to connect to the tool. Now, it's going to take a few seconds to connect. You might see that it says, hey, permissions or allow device. It's going to ask for a password. That password is 3131, something that you're going to want to write on the back of your tool and also is listed in the manual. Now we have connected and I'm going to hit allow on the air conditioning tool. It's going to take me to the app once I connect. Another thing to verify if I am connected to the tool itself is if we go back to the red LED, you'll notice it's solid now. The solid LED on this tool tells me that I have successfully connected to my Bluetooth device. you'll find that if you have issues within the app after you've connected to the device, that you might want to go and look at the service tool to see if the light is flashing again. If the light is flashing, that means that you've lost connection between your phone, your device, and the hockey puck here, and you'll have to reconnect it again going back to your Bluetooth settings. So once you've connected to our device, we've got our red solid light, then we're gonna go over to our app. Now remember that once you connect to this device, it's supposed to take you back over to the app. If you haven't downloaded the app, it should take you to the App Store and where you can download that. If you need more information as to what to download and what that looks like, that's where we're gonna push you to the installation manual and go and find the service device that is listed for that. So now that we've connected, we're gonna go ahead and go into our app. We're gonna click record, add new, gonna give this customer name Kalos, because this is our office. You'll notice here that the unit just started up. Okay, then I'm gonna click the green check mark. Now something to notate, if I go back and I exit out, at the main screen of the tool, if you're using this for the first time, you have to go to the bottom left-hand side and you have to set up who the service office person is, the responsible person. I put my name both times, select all of this stuff. I want my unit measurements in PSI and Fahrenheit. My connection type is Bluetooth, not cabled. Then I've got to hit yes to select that. Once I've done that, then I can go to the record section. Otherwise, if I try to skip that step, it's not going to work. You can see all the recordings that I have on here. I'm going to click Kalos. I'm going to click add new. Now I'm at the mapping of the system portion. It's going to give me automatic customer IDs based upon my timestamps. What I want to do now is I want to go in here and I want to do auto select. Now with auto select selected, I'm going to click the little chain link on the left-hand side and it's going to start auto detecting the piece of equipment that I have. Now remember, this doesn't select the exact model number of the equipment that we're looking for. It just goes and looks at what series of equipment we might be connected to. Is this Altherma, which is not in our market? Is it VRV? Is it a mini split? It's going to go through and it's going to determine that. It's also going to see if it can find the indoor unit and the outdoor unit so we can pull in all the information. Now this takes as long as it takes. Sometimes if there's more indoor units connected than just one-to-one, if it's a multi-port mini split or if it's VRV, this could take up to 5 minutes. You'll notice too that sometimes it likes to disconnect and reconnect. So sometimes keeping an eye on that red status light is also useful. If it does time out and you do lose the status light, I have found on other systems, see it says protocol succeeded, which is good, that you do have to just reconnect the Bluetooth 2 or 3 times before it finally takes. It is annoying, but now it's saying that we have 1 indoor unit. I can type in the model number if I wanted to of the piece of equipment, which is also useful when I go back to look at the data. At the bottom here, where it says unselected, I have to pick the data label file manually. Right? It has found the indoor units and how many is connected. Now I have to tell it what am I hooked to. If you incorrectly select something from this very, very long list, it'll put the discharge temperature, the suction pressure, all of those numbers in the wrong places and wrong categories, so that when you go to troubleshoot and look at the data, none of it is going to make any sense. So if we go down to the model number down here, we'll see that this is a DZ6 VSA. And so we're going to go in here and see if we can find something that is remotely similar. We're going to pick the, right there, DZ17 VSA. Now the model number may not be exactly specific to what you're looking for, but it's the series that counts. You'll notice that this list isn't exactly up to date with the latest and greatest. But you want to make sure that if you can't find the exact model, that you find something within the same range. Inverter unitary is the right category that we're looking for. You just want to make sure that in this list, if you can't find the exact model number you're looking for, you find the older piece of equipment. And so for that, the D stands for Daikin, Z, right, is the inverter-driven equipment. So we're going to go down here and we're going to go back up and click on the DZ17. Okay, hit the green check mark. And now what it's going to start doing is it's going to start pulling in all the information. So the system is in heating mode. It has an outdoor temperature of 58 degrees, discharge temperature is 127, suction temp. This is where you're going to go through and look at the mapping to make sure that everything in each category makes sense, right? That my PSI is not in my discharge temperature range. Maybe I accidentally clicked the wrong model. My compressor frequency is at 53. And so then from there, I can go through my control and I can see all my control points that I have here. These are all your protection devices, right? High pressure, low pressure, retries, demand percentage. We're demanding 100% capacity on this system right now. I can go to my sensors. These are all the sensors in the system itself. from outdoor air temperature all the way down to liquid temperature. And then actuator, these are your compressor or fan, expansion valve pulses on the outdoor unit, fan RPMs, and then indoor unit. This lets me see everything inside: indoor liquid temp, indoor gas temp, expansion valve pulses, requested CFMs, all the good stuff. So for this, just getting into this information doesn't mean that it's recording. We have to now start recording by pressing the red circle. We want to start recording. Now in the top left-hand side, the record button that was gray is now red. You'll notice here that I also don't have any protection controls on, and there is no error codes on this system. If my mini split won't start and I've got flashing lights inside, but I can't find the error code, this type of service tool allows me to hook up to it to not only read the error code on the system, but also if there's any protection devices that maybe are keeping the compressor from ramping up. Maybe you've got a system where the system isn't delivering the design capacity, but you don't know why it won't ramp up. And it's not because it's undercharged or overcharged, it's because there's probably a protection control, right, on the control screen that is active, keeping it off. You find the one that's on, you go to the service manual and you find out what the conditions are and why it's off, and then troubleshoot from there. Now I can record this. See at the top left-hand side, it's saying that it does it by 5-second increments. Let's say that this is something that I would want to do if I've got a system that's doing something erratically that isn't behaving the way it's supposed to, and I want to find out what the root cause of where I should go next after everything else doesn't make sense. There's no error codes, but it just doesn't run correctly, or it makes a ton of noise, or it does something at midnight. You want to get at least a good hour to 2 hours of runtime data on your phone while you're sitting here either manually testing the system by turning it into heat, then turning it into cool. Then when you're done with that, you're going to want to press the square button at the bottom. Remember that if you do not finish the recording and you walk away from the device and it disconnects, you will lose the recording. Now that I finished the recording for 1 minute, 20 seconds, I can turn around and actually send this recording to my technical specialist. You can send it to your senior service technician, or just document it on your service notes, all the way to the point where if you need help from the manufacturer, they're going to require you to have a tool like this, record the information to send to them so that they can analyze it and give you direction as to what steps you should take next to solve your problem. That is the service tool in a nutshell. Remember, the longer the recording can be on a system like this, the more information that we have to troubleshoot. Is it consistently defrosting? How long is the defrost cycle? What is the indoor unit doing? Why are certain protection controls being enabled at certain times of the day? All of those things are recordable from something like this on a system like this. Now I can come here if there is an error code and I can troubleshoot that error code. Maybe it's a bad fan motor, maybe it's an inverter board error code. But when it comes to system operations with 0 error codes and still having problems with maintaining space temp, pulling down on temp, running for more than 5 minutes, you have to have a service tool like this to gain access to all the information within the system that it sees to understand why isn't it running. Why does it turn off after 5 minutes? All of that information is only accessible through a tool like this on a system like this. You'll have to understand that although you can troubleshoot what you see, there are a lot of things that are unseen that are required to be viewed to troubleshoot and get down to the root cause of why it might be doing something. And so without this, you are essentially sometimes flying blind on equipment like this. Now, I do wish that other manufacturers had a tool on systems like this that let us see everything like Daikin does, but eventually maybe we'll get there on newer equipment. But in a nutshell, that is the Daikin wireless D-Checker, or the Bluetooth D-Checker. We'll have more videos here shortly to talk about what we see, analyzing that data, looking at those service points, making correlations between the two to make a solid diagnosis, to find out what the root cause of the problem is on systems like this. We'll even showcase some of the mini splits we have here at the office with some simulated issues, but all of that to just give you an introduction to the tools that you have available out in the field to service equipment like this. Yes, you should have multimeters, yes, you should have vacuum pumps, torches. Those are the basic tools. But as we get higher up the list on higher efficiency equipment like this, inverter-driven, you almost have to have a tool like this to see the whole picture of what's going on with the system that doesn't have any error codes. So I'm Roman. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for watching. If you're willing, give this video a thumbs up and drop us a comment. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay updated with all of our future videos. And as a quick reminder, HVAC School isn't just a YouTube channel. Dive deeper with us at our main website, hvacrschool.com. Curious for more knowledge on the go? We've got you covered. Tune into the HVAC School podcast, available on all your favorite podcast apps. And while you're at it, join our thriving Facebook group. Also, don't miss out on our free mobile applications available for both iPhone and Android. We're all about community. For techs, by techs.